Welcome to the One Zen Fitness Podcast. My name is Kieran Cronin and I have over 17 years experience within the fitness, health and nutrition industries. Please share this podcast with friends and share with love. Please spread the wealth. Go to www.onezenacademy.com. Thank you.
Man.
So welcome, Asa. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm always good. Well,
Good.
I try to be anyway. Yeah.
Always 100%, always ready to go.
Yeah. So, if we begin by you telling the listeners about your journey, who you are, your kind of journey up to this point, and then I may strategically interrupt now and then. But yeah, if you kind of explain who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, sure thing. As you guessed, my name's Asa. I'm an MMA fighter, but I'm currently residing in Manchester.
Okay.
But I guess I started the whole fighting thing when I was sort of a kid. I actually lived in Germany for a little while.
Wow. Okay.
And in Munich, and I had a buddy who was a member of sort of a boxing club.
Yeah.
So I used to take him down there when I was like sort of 13, 14. And we used to do some boxing classes and just like smash them in the bags and stuff like that. And they used to do like jiu-jitsu classes there. And I tried to sort of get involved with it. But I was kind of a little bit, I don't know, it wasn't really on my radar back then. I don't think jiu-jitsu was sort of as popular as it is now. And I kind of like struggled to understand it a little bit. It was just kind of a lot of grown men in tights just sort of like hugging each other. I just didn't, it didn't really like appeal to me at the time. I just kind of wanted to smash stuff. So it's actually kind of like a big regret of mine, actually, because I had an opportunity to sort of like, because I'm really into jiu-jitsu now. But I had an opportunity to start from like a really young age. And it just didn't appeal to me back then.
Of course.
Because I just wanted to hit stuff. So I did that for like a little while, and it was, I never got into any sort of like competing side of things, but I just started training. And then I kind of picked up the bug for it, and then a few years later, I went to university in Aberystwyth, which is sort of the Welsh coast. The Welsh coast. Let me get my words out. But there's not really a big sort of MMA or like boxing or jiu-jitsu scene sort of in the Welsh coast. What they did have was a taekwondo club.
Okay.
So I signed up there and I started doing taekwondo, and I was actually doing all right. And then that was when sort of the competitive stuff sort of started coming in. And then I started sort of competing a fair amount in taekwondo. So I was traveling around the country, and I pretty much medaled at every sort of competition that I entered.
Nice.
And I was like, oh man, this whole fighting thing's going really, really well. And then so I did that for a couple of years, and then I did an industrial year when I was a student. So I was studying computer science. And I had to go away. So I did 2 years, and you sort of go away for a year and work. So I was in Nottingham working. I found like a taekwondo club up there, and then MMA. That was when MMA really started to get on my radar. And it was starting to get big. There's that movie that came out with like Tom Hardy, and it's like Warrior. Or something.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
Everyone was super. Everyone was like super into it. And there was this MMA gym pretty close to my house. And I didn't really know any like the MMA guys at the time, but it was a pretty decent, like sort of well-known gym. It was run by it wasn't run by, but there's a guy called Dan Hardy who's quite a sort of a big guy in MMA these days. There's lots of commentary and stuff like that. But it was when he was active. So that's where he was training out of. And so I went down there thinking, I'm pretty good at this taekwondo stuff. I should probably give MMA a shot. And I showed up and I just got my ass handed to me basically. But like absolutely everyone, like beginners, everyone was just like shooting in on me, like taking me down. It was just like and I was like, okay, so that's probably and that was it basically. I was like, well, this is what I've got to be doing, right? So I kind of ditched the taekwondo stuff. So at that point on, I was like, okay, we're just going to do the MMA stuff now, and I think taekwondo is great, but I mean, from a competition standpoint, it's very point scory, and there's nothing wrong with that. In terms of the sport, it's great, but in terms of sort of like actually fighting, it's less. It's more of a sport than a than a fighting. Is
that what appealed to you more about the MMA? Is the fact it was like proper, like, almost like that gladiatorial fighting rather than points?
Pretty much. There is an element of that side of things, and I think just because it's a little bit more real and it's a little bit less sugar coated. So I think when you look at it, if you say like, oh well, I mean, it's great to go into sort of like any sort of competition and win and feel great, or we're great, like having learned some stuff. But I think for me, what was sort of happening was I was going into this sort of taekwondo stuff thinking, oh well, I'm getting very good at fighting, and really what I was doing was getting very good at a sport. And that's not wrong. It just depends on what your goal is, and and again, if you're there thinking that your sort of the fighting side of things is going well, and then just some guys sort of take you down and banging you out, it's probably just not in alignment with your expectations of what you thought you were doing. Which is why you got to try like a whole bunch of different martial arts just to see what one sort of like appeals to you. And that doesn't mean that taekwondo stuff doesn't work. Some of it does work, and you do see guys in it's sort of like the UFC and stuff who make it work, like Wonderboy makes karate work and stuff. But I always felt that kind of like spinny stuff, it's sort of like the 1%. So I think you get like your fundamentals, you get your boxing together, and you get your wrestling together, and then you put the sauce on. And I think the sauce can be the taekwondo, the sauce can be the karate, and it's like that little 1%. Once you put all the basics down, then you can sort of make all that spinny stuff work. You can play with it a little bit, but that's like the little sauce that gives you like your style. If you know what I mean. Of course. So I trained there for a little while. Then I moved back to university, did my final year, and then I graduated, and I took a bit of a break just because of just sort of like logistics, really. And I moved to London, and I was living in like West London, in like Ealing.
Right.
And, I got this job working at a brokerage in Embankment, and it was doing like a bunch of basic stuff like that. And I was writing sort of like software that sort of calculates. This is going to sound dull, but basically it calculated stock prices for various airlines, like catchment areas. That's where we're going. And for like the first sort of 6 months, I thought it was all right, and after a while, I was like, oh man, what am I doing? And it was kind of a bit of a. The thing was, the fighting stuff for me was very real, and one of the things that I kind of found working in that environment, particularly the banking stuff, actually, was so. For example, if I was to transfer you some money, right? No one's taking gold from like my account or my vault somewhere and putting it in your vault, right? It's all just sort of a representation, interpretation, right? And at the end of the day, it's just a number in a database. And it's just sort of the value that we place on it that gives it any sort of value. So one of the last projects I was sort of working on before I left was basically an application that sort of packages up all of the trades for the day, which is worth millions of pounds, and it sort of like ships it off, right? And you kind of end up in this weird sort of out of touch sort of place where you're dealing with this currency which isn't real in the strongest sense. It's based on sort of the markets which are sort of interpreted, and the value is kind of interpretational based on sort of like rumor and hearsay and some statistics and analytics, right? And then at the end of the day, it's in that it's virtual reality, right? It's software, it's not reality, right? And so you end up in this thing of like, well, it's kind of it's getting a bit meta now. With sort of like what is real, but with the fighting stuff, I always felt that there was something sort of primal about it, like animal fight.
Yeah.
You know, and there's something about it that was very real. And I kind of placed myself in an environment that was, I felt was super out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
And so I just quit like the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Just sort of handed them my notice. So I started freelancing. And then as I was freelancing, I kind of freed up my time to sort of train more, and I started getting into some jiu-jitsu and stuff. And that was going all right. But then I had to be fair, you know, I was training at London Shoot Fires, and everything was sort of going well. I found I thought I found like a good gym. You know, the training was going well. Then I had an injury,
right?
And I basically slipped a disc, which actually wasn't from MMA. It was actually from lifting. And to be fair, my injuries from MMA aren't crazy. I've got loads of injuries, but they're all from sort of like doing other sort of stupid things. I was doing like a overhead press, and it's zero form, zero technique. I was just like flinging bars around, and there's no core brace or anything like that. And you know, just and for weeks my back was just sort of like hurting, and I just ignored it. And I was like, oh, this is probably fine. It's probably fine. Just carry on lifting. And then one day, you know, just like throw the bar over my head, and bang, you know, back goes into spasm.
Wow.
And I was so stubborn about the whole thing. I was like, oh, my back kind of hurts. I reckon I got one more set in me.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely one more set.
And so I pick up the weight, and I started trying to press it again. I was like, oh, yeah, it's not really going to work, is it? And I put it back down. I was like, we'll give it a little bit, and we'll see. We'll see how it heals up. So,
I'm exactly the same with training. I've got I sprained my AC joint the other day doing full cleans, and I just caught the bar, you know, right on the AC joint. Put the bar down. I thought, oh, that's a bit eye-watering, and then after about a couple of minutes, I'm like, yeah, I've got another set. Got another set. Well, I might as well finish it, you know.
You're here now. I was already like loaded up. It's like you don't want to.
Yeah, it'd be rude not to.
You know? Yeah, exactly. It's like Jim Etiquette, right? I mean, you're not one of those guys that just like leaves your waist lying around, right?
Exactly. You put them away. Right? Everyone
does. Yeah. So I was like, might as well get one more out.
Definitely.
I've got a dodgy AC joint as well. It's just it's just the way it goes. So it took me a long time to sort of like recover from that. I did a lot of physio and it took me a really, really long time. Actually, before I could even like put on my trousers and stuff, it was pretty rough. It was a proper bad one. It was like a full on like L4 rupture with like a cyst in the middle of the disc and the cyst and all the nerves and stuff. It was full on. So that pretty much took me out of like any sort of training for like a really long time. And then so basically pretty much a year, to be fair. And then after like a year off, I was still sort of like doing bits and pieces. So it was mainly sort of rehab. I started doing a lot of yoga.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that was probably one of the best things I ever started doing, was like consistently sort of like sticking to yoga. I started doing hot yoga.
Yeah.
And I found that I'd get into the class and my back would absolute agony. You know, for the first like 5-10 minutes, I just couldn't move, and then, you know, as the heat sort of got in there, everything was sort of loosened up, and I could start to sort of move again. I managed to get like significant like mobility back into my spine, and so with that, and actually decompression as well.
Okay, nice.
So I bought like an inversion table. I put it up in my lounge, and I just started just like hanging upside down and grabbing onto bars and stuff. I got one of those like neck hammocks that you put on the side of your doors and stuff, and just so I lie down and just try and like decompress like everything as much as I can. And to be fair, through like the combination of sort of myofascial release and are you familiar with Kelly Starrett?
Yeah, Supple Leopard,
that's it. Ready Stay guy. That's it.
Yeah.
I was having a look through like the Supple Leopard, and you know, got some of those M-wad balls and sort of like got to work every morning, trying to like jam the crossballs into my back and stuff. And to be fair, eventually it pretty much got better. And a lot of doctors and stuff, when they're looking at the MRIs, they'll tell me my back was just like destroyed. And they didn't really want to give me surgery because I was too young, but they're definitely sort of airing, like leaning towards sort of like that side. I didn't really want any fusions, and I kind of believe that the body sort of wants to go back to the way that it should be. You just kind of got to coax it a little bit, and eventually it did. And then around that time, I'd started to get as my back was getting better, I was just really missing the fighting side of things, and just like the sort of like for example, right? One of the things was if you look at sort of the human condition, right? So when you see like a guy, I was standing outside Starbucks, and I remember sort of seeing a guy, and he's sort of like about 40, he's carrying a few extra pounds, right? And he's got a suit and a briefcase, right? And he's got a coffee in one hand, right? And he's trying to do that little shuffle, when you're trying to cross the road and there's a car coming but you're not at the traffic lights, right? So you do that awkward little shuffle across the road. And I remember just like looking at this guy just trying to awkwardly sort of like shuffle his briefcase and his coffee, and just and I just think, wow, you know what I mean? We got like Tesla, and we got all these things, but somehow we just sort of hobbling across roads trying to sort of make it work. And I was just sort of like didn't really want to go down that road, so I sort of got back into the training. I got back into the training, and also like I see a lot of the fight stuff as sort of like an artistic pursuit. Like it's called martial arts, right? And I think there are definitely crossovers. Like if you look at a guy like Anderson Silva, I mean, when you watch that guy fight, it's hard to deny that that's not art. Or like Israel Adesanya or something. There's something about it that for me, for me it's sort of looks like it's beautiful, right? And for me that's it looks like an artistic pursuit,
Yeah, definitely.
So with a mixture of sort of like being an artistic pursuit and just sort of kind of missing.
So is it the art form kind of? It almost like that realization. Like some people look at MMA and they look at kind of. I remember like in the original kind of UFC, it was just brutal, and now it's become more like there is like an art format to it. Is that kind of what you're?
Yes, I mean something like that. I mean even back in like the early days of sort of UFC, like Tank Abbott and Chuck Liddell and stuff like that. I mean, I get what you're trying to say, but even Anderson Silva was around, way back in the day. So I think it was always, people like that were always around. It's just sort of who's available and who can pull it off. But I think it's more of an interpretational thing. So some people look at MMA and they think it's barbaric. I look at MMA and I think it's beautiful. When someone gets an amazing reversal or a takedown, or even if someone comes back after. There's a guy called Paul Craig. And he's some Scottish guy, and he got his ass handed to him for sort of like 3 rounds by some Russian dude.
Oh, really?
And he subs him at 4:59 in the 3rd round and wins.
Right.
He says that he gets his ass handed to him for 3 rounds, and it literally the clock stops at 4:59 at the last round, and he wins. And so when I see stuff like that, I'm like, that's beautiful,
Yeah.
And I think that you can make parallels. So, for example, so I play drums, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at like the rhythm that you get in fighting, so like for example, something that people talk about is rhythm in fighting, right?
Yeah.
So you establish your rhythm in a fight, and then that's your pace, and then it's kind of the other guy's job to break your rhythm and establish his own rhythm.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll do that by sort of like interrupting your timing with sort of like jabs, and they'll try and throw you off, or same time counters. So like they'll throw when you throw, and it's kind of disrupts your rhythm, right? Because in your head you've got sort of like a certain pace and a certain beat that you want to go to, right? So for example, if you put if you work in a bag, you can put a metronome on, right, at like a certain pace, and you can like accent different beats. Right, so like blip 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 blip, right?
Yeah.
And then you start like punching on the beats, and then you start punching on the off beats, and then you can start punching on like 2 and 4 of the beat, and then all of a sudden you kind of establishing your own rhythm, right?
Yeah.
And then you can up the tempo of the metronome, and that's setting the pace, right?
Yeah.
And then if you take away the metronome, what you have is an internal rhythm, right? And so and obviously you use the metronome when you're playing drums and music and stuff like that. So like I think there are parallels. It's just sort of how you choose to look at it.
I mean, have you heard of flow states?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think So I mean, I don't really know if a flow state can sort of be sort of induced at will. But I've definitely had competitions where sort of everything sort of slowed down and it's just worked for me.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of people sort of talk about that as well. And sometimes it doesn't. But I think the flow state, is definitely when you set your rhythm, you set your pace. It definitely sort of comes together, But then at the same time, you can probably break the flow state again if the other guy sort of breaks your rhythm, then establishes his, and it's then all of a sudden you're on the back foot and it's a problem,
Yep. Yeah, nice. Now, I mentioned flow states because it's that kind of bringing together of kind of in getting involved in the present where everything comes together for you. And in essence, you're kind of trying to, like you said, break the other flow state. I get what you're trying to say. Yeah, there's a lot of research behind it to try and induce it at will. Because they've managed to do it with like video games. That's what the best video games on the planet. That's what they do. They induce flow state straight away. That's why they're so addictive. Which I find fascinating. Is like the music, the imagery, everything about it induces a flow state. And I just thought if there was kind of a sports psychologist out there who wants to work with, MMA fighters to, get them to induce flow states, I think they would be onto a bit of a winner with that one.
For sure. I mean, those esports guys, I mean, from my understanding, they train like athletes. Yeah. So they have sort of like a strength and conditioning guy, and they sort of like wake up in the morning. They like live in the house of the team. It's like a Korean League of Legends guys. They all live in a house, and they get up in the morning, and they get like running and lifting and stuff, and then they'll go play like League of Legends for sort of like 10, 14, 20 hours, right?
Ridiculous.
But they train like athletes.
It's bonkers.
I mean, they make as much money as the elite athletes as well. So
I know. Wow.
It's legit. That's snuck up, right? Esports.
Yeah, that's just just bonkers, man. Yeah.
10 years ago, was anyone even talking about it?
Not really. No. I mean,
right.
There's people like in stadiums watching this stuff, and it's like, really? Have I like been living under a rock somewhere? Is like, where did this come from? Really?
Yeah, and they're handing out like £1 million contracts. And stuff like that. I was like, oh, what?
I speak to some people about that, and they're still like, nah, you're talking bullshit, mate. It doesn't exist. I'm like, seriously, it does. It's like a different world, completely.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, look at like Korea and just like backed out football stadiums. It's insane.
Jeez, oh man. So I guess moving on. So you didn't want to be that guy shuffling with his Starbucks coffee.
Yeah. Exactly.
So at what point did you think I can do this, professionally?
I kind of I basically pretty much started training. Well, as soon as my back was better, really, and I'd actually moved up to Manchester at this point.
Yeah.
So I sort of joined a gym there, and then I just started training as soon as my back was sort of like, sort of let me. And it was only it was really after. I'm trying to think of the best way to sort of articulate it. So it was the people that I sort of met. And the stories and stuff that I heard that made me sort of realize this was the kind of thing that I wanted to be doing.
Yeah.
So I kind of mentioned earlier that I was sort of struggling to find stuff I thought was sort of real.
Yeah.
And I always felt that I was happiest when I was training and when I was fighting. And then the highs are the highs are high and the lows are low and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely felt the more I was doing it and sort of the more people I was meeting doing it, they were definitely more like me.
Yeah.
And like, there's some people out there who are, fighting saved their life. Like, there's a guy I know, he's like a Brazilian guy. He's a bit of a personal source. I'm not going to say his name, but he's, he was in Brazil. He sort of grew up in the favelas and stuff, and like his parents kicked him out when he was a kid because they thought he was a proper gangster and stuff. He just sort of goes to the park in the nearest favela and he's just crying his eyes out, and some guy like walks past, and I ask him what he's doing, and he kind of explains the situation. He's like, okay, well, come with me, right? And this guy like owned an MMA gym in Brazil, and basically he's like, okay, so you stay here and you work here and you clean everything and you teach and you train and all this sort of stuff, but you got to call your parents every day, and that's what he did, right? And every day he called his parents, and every day he kept training, and they started fighting, and now he's one of the best fighters on sort of like the UFC roster. Yeah, and it's like fighting literally saved his life. He had absolutely nothing. Yeah. Just, by some guy who owned the gym and a bit of chance, and it gave him something to sort of like work towards. It pretty much saved his life for something that could have been, completely different. And like I remember when he was telling me that, I was sort of in the gym, I was sort of like welling up a little bit. I was like, that's some real shit right there. Yeah. That's not. Oh, I really hope I get to file my TPS report. So that so I don't have to work on like Saturday. Yeah. So that's kind of like the thing. And it was mainly the people, and then the more I kept doing it, and I sucked pretty hard at a few things. I sucked pretty hard at wrestling. I sucked pretty hard at jiu-jitsu. And it was only really after with me, I tend to not get it until I get it. Yeah. And so, for example, jiu-jitsu, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And I remember one day, and it was just like a little switch in my head. And one day I was just like rolling on the mats, and it all just kind of started coming together for me. And then from that point on, like I started like winning competitions, like jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff. Yeah. And then from that, my sort of confidence grew. And again, like the more I was training, the more I was around like people. And I traveled around a lot. Like I went to Thailand, and I trained out there for a few weeks. And it was I just found that like everyone that I was sort of meeting, I trained in Denmark for a fair bit. And I just found that everyone I was meeting, they're all sort of chasing the same sort of goals, and they're all sort of just trying to look for something that's a bit real. And I just find that through sort of like testing, like every day, even if you don't fight, right, even if you don't compete, right, getting up every day and getting in the gym and getting on the mats and rolling is a really humbling experience. Yeah. Right? Like you get on the mats, you slap hands, and you'll get choked out like 20, 30 times, right? Yeah. But it's a really humbling experience, and I just think that by sort of facing adversity every day. Yeah. It's kind of it's like character building. Yeah, builds that resilience. Building up resilience, and it's like a muscle, right? So it's like when you go to the gym, you run like a really good routine. You're in the gym like 5 days a week, and then you skip a day, and it's easy to skip the next day. It's easy to skip the next day. That's got like that sort of that muscle getting weaker. So it's something that you got to train, and I feel it's the same with competing actually. Like if I don't compete for ages, I get really, really nervous, right? Because I haven't had that, I haven't sort of flexed that sort of competing muscle. But then if I compete in like jiu-jitsu or something, every couple of months or whatever, eventually it's like just zero nerves. It's just like a regular day sort of thing. It's only really recently, like the jiu-jitsu combat I did, I had zero nerves, and it was only sort of. And and that was sort of like the first time where I felt like, oh, okay, you know, we're going in here and we're going to try and be like our best self and put on the best performance that we can. And even if you lose, if you put in the best performance that you can, you know, it really is a case of, well, you did your best, you know, and if the other guy won, you did your best. It doesn't necessarily matter about the result. It matters about the performance that you put on and the skills that you want to showcase.
Yeah.
And that in turn, you know, will have an effect on the result. Like if your focus is less on the result and more on the performance that you put on, that will automatically impact the end goal anyway. So yeah. And so then I started competing more. Had some MMA fights, and I sucked. And then I realised that I needed to work on my wrestling. And a few bits and pieces, and I also found that I also felt that the team that I was with, because I kind of seen fighting as a bit of a solo sport, because it's kind of you getting in there, and it's kind of you doing the work, but really it's a team sport, because you got to have good coaches and good training partners, you got to have good bodies, and you got to have people that you really sort of like respect and understand and can work with on a sort of like personal level as well. So I'd made a few adjustments to my camp. Someone sort of explained it to me as sort of, are you familiar with like Maslow's theory?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like a hierarchy of needs. Right? So someone sort of explained it to me as a sort of hierarchy of needs for like Maslow's theory for MMA. And so it's like the foundation has got to be sort of like your team and you know the people around you, and then you sort of build up like the various layers until sort of the top part is sort of like confidence and sort of self-actualization and stuff like that. So I was taking that sort of approach. I kind of adjusted a few things in my camp, and then I got to work, fixed a bunch of issues I had with sort of like my cage work and a few bits and pieces, and then started putting on like good performances, and that was really it, to be honest. And then from that point on, it's just been a case of training, traveling around. I still freelance because there's like zero money in MMA. So I still freelance as a software developer for sort of like a few months here and there, and then what I do, I'll train in between. Because like for example, I just finished the contract, and then I left and just went to Copenhagen, and then just stayed in the gym there for a bit, and then just trained full time. And to be fair, that's sort of like the times that I'm most happy and it feels like the most fulfilled is when just like every day I'm just sort of getting up there and just doing hard stuff, and then I feel like I can earn a break. Like if I go and go to the movies or whatever on a Friday night after, or if I go out on a Friday night, but I spent all week grinding it out, I can truly enjoy that time off, because I've just been grinding it out sort of all week sort of thing. So I feel whereas I feel like if you train less and just do more of the leisure stuff, even though it's important, having like downtime stuff is important, I feel like I can never really fully enjoy it. I feel like it's something that's got to be earned.
Yeah, definitely. I like the kind of idea of kind of reapproaching, reevaluating kind of what you're doing and having that hierarchy. I think that I like that.
Some of the things fall out, and then you realise your hierarchy of needs is kind of a bit, like a coach will leave, your training partners will leave, and then they'll put like the hierarchy of needs sort of like out of whack, and then you got to sort of have a bit of a hunt around and figure out how you can best then position, your support network and stuff around you, in order to sort of have a better outcome, and that definitely makes a difference, that 100% makes a difference.
Yeah, nice. So, I mean, you're kind of going on this journey. I mean, with regards to the MMA, what have you kind of got a goal in mind, or are you just kind of riding this wave at the moment?
I've got some short-term goals and some long-term goals. I mean, I might as well just say them.
There's no pressure.
No pressure. And they're going to look back on this in 10 years like, well, that didn't happen. Look at the performance, man. Look at the performance. if we're talking our long-term goal, definitely want to get signed to sort of either Bellator or ONE FC. Start fighting for sort of those sort of like big promotions. Definitely sort of looking at ONE FC. I'd love to go fight in Asia. I think that would be just an absolutely incredible sort of experience. Like imagine like going to Japan and fighting out there.
Nice.
It'd be incredible. So that's kind of the long-term goal. Short-term goal. There's some smaller promotions and there's belts out there. And I want to collect a few because my trousers are pretty loose from all the weight cutting. So gonna collect a few belts. And keep my trousers up, and then we'll see how it goes. So that's the short-term goal. So we'll see how that looks. You know, I'm hoping for sort of like next year. To be sort of like pursuing some belts and stuff.
Okay, awesome. And I guess with regards to training, I mean, what does like typical training look like for you at the moment?
Yeah, so I train twice a day, 6 days a week.
Wow.
And I take I have one sort of like complete rest day, which is Sunday, where I don't look at fights, I don't talk about fighting, I don't watch UFC, I don't do anything. And you know, that's a sort of mental clarity.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I do a lot of yoga. Still doing the hot yoga, and that's probably one of the best things that I've done. I do a lot of cross training as well. You got to be careful with the cross training. Because it's got to be relevant. So, like for example, doing sort of playing football probably isn't going to help you with your MMA game. But Olympic sports do seem to cross over pretty well. So sort of like ring work, gymnastics is sort of like the newest. It's sort of like the newest thing that I've started doing. And that's definitely helping with sort of like stability and sort of like core strength and stuff.
Nice,
and you see guys who are sort of like they're skinnier than me. But they're just dense. Just dense. You see them like doing iron crosses and stuff like that. And from an aesthetic standpoint, you would say that I could lift more, I could deadlift more or something like that. But these guys are just tiny packs, they're just dense. And they're just strong, just through and through, just crazy tendon strength. So I've been doing a lot of ring work and sort of like gymnastics, yoga, and also like Olympic lifting. Probably one of the best things that I've found. More than powerlifting. Actually, for this particular camp, for the fight I've got coming up, I've kind of made a bit of a shift where I've stopped lifting heavy. So for the last fight that I had, I had a bit of a I might as well just say inferiority complex. Because I felt that the guy was pretty shredded. And for some reason meant I felt like I just had to be powerlifting, and so I did loads of powerlifting. I did loads of deadlifts. And just squats and like 1 rep maxes and stuff like that. And it was because all I wanted to do was just put on size, but it was because I felt a bit inferior, because I was like, oh man, this guy's pretty big. Even though ultimately that at the same weight class, those kind of things don't really come into sort of consideration. If you're a welterweight and you're fighting a heavyweight, then it comes into consideration. If two guys fight a welter, you both weigh the same. That kind of thing's marginal, But it was more of a sort of like a mental sort of clarity, or like mental sanity sort of thing, to sort of make myself feel better. I felt like I had to be bigger. But I kind of ditched all of that this time around. And I've actually sort of taken out a lot of the heavy lifting. I've replaced it with Olympic lifting, and I've used that as sort of like a replacement for plyometrics.
Nice.
So I'm trying to just focus on basically getting speed under the bar, more than sort of how much I can lift. I'm just kind of trying to convert the strength that I made, all the strength gains that I made in the previous camp, and I'm just trying to see how much of that I can just convert into power and just get as much speed under the bar as I can. And instead of doing like, and I do some plyometrics like box jumps and stuff like that, but instead of having like a dedicated sort of plyometric routine, I'm just trying to keep everything as focused as I can on sort of like like I said, like speed under the bar, and also in terms of movements, I think Olympic lifting is probably one of the best things that sort of crosses over to sort of like wrestling.
Definitely.
So if you look at the anatomy of a takedown, so once you get in on the hips, you want to sort of execute triple extension. You want to extend through your ankles, knees, and hips, right? And if you look at a clean, right, well, you're looking at triple extension. So how do you train triple extension, right? Well, get a bar, start doing some cleans, right? So all of a sudden, you start patterning that movement, and then as soon as you hit a takedown, you get in on the hips, bam, it's like a clean, it's triple extension. Yeah. But you've been doing that with weight for time as a plyometric for months, right? So it's just like it's like another way to sort of train and help your nervous system sort of develop that movement.
Definitely.
Which brings me on to another thing, actually, which I've been doing loads of. I've started doing a whole bunch of that. Are you familiar with I'm gonna butcher his name, Ido Portal? The movement coach guy, right? So when I first sort of came across him, I was a little bit skeptical. He saw like Conor McGregor doing a lot of stuff.
Oh
don't really know how I feel about all of this, And then I saw this a bit of I got to be careful what I say, I guess, but this London Real documentary. I remember the guy from London Real. He goes the start of the documentary. He goes so hard in the pain on he starts sort of like imagery of people at desks and and training floors. He's like, in these modern times filled with like phones and screens and technology, we've forgotten our core principles and our necessity for movement. And I was like, all right, mate, so I turned it off. And I was like, don't know if I'm down with this, But there's a guy called Dan Mitten who's at Aspire, which is where I train, and he's kind of like buddies with this Ido Portal guy, and they sort of train together, I think, out in Israel or wherever. And so I started doing some work with him, and he actually broke it down for me in like a really, really, really good way. So, for example, the way that some of this movement stuff works and how it correlates to sort of sports is it kind of preps your nervous system. So there's two things. One is a lot of it is joint warming up opposed to like muscle warm up. So a lot of the time people get injured in like wrestling, jiu-jitsu and stuff. It's like more like the joint goes before the muscle sort of goes. And so you see those guys that sort of like stretching and stuff, they're stretching out their muscles and they go train and pop their shoulder. So it's like because you haven't really warmed up your joints. So that's the first thing. It's like a lot of so for example, he has a lot of exercises with sticks, right? And you'll grab a stick and then you'll rotate your shoulders around the sticks, and because the sticks don't move, it forces your shoulders to sort of like rotate around the sticks, which gives you like internal and external rotation. The other thing, which is probably the most interesting, is so if you visualize throwing a jab, right? Okay, let's actually put this another way. You look at a bear crawl. Right, a bear crawl. So a bear crawl is bilateral, right? So you'll be crawling and you'll be moving your left hand and right foot, right, and then your right hand, your left hand and then right foot, and then left foot and then right hand, right? And that's bear crawl, right? So one of the things that he'll teach is a bear crawl that's unilateral and a bear crawl that's bilateral, right? So you go opposite hand and foot, and then you'll do same side, like left hand, left foot. Right hand, right foot, and you do like left hand, right foot. And the reason why you want to train the movement of being able to move, sort of both left sides at the same time and left and right side at the same time is because if you visualize throwing a punch, right? So if you throw a jab, you'll be stepping forward with your. So I'm southpaw, right? So if I'm throwing a jab, I'll be stepping forward with my right leg and my punching with my right hand, right? So what that is basically like a unilateral exercise, right? Where I've had to mobilize, both my right and left foot, my left and right hand at the same time, right? Sorry, I'm butchering this. My right hand and right foot at the same time. I knew that was going to happen.
I know what you mean.
If I throw a jab, I'm moving my right hand and right foot at the same time, right? But if I throw a cross, okay, I'm stepping forward with my right foot and I'm throwing with my left hand, right? Which is bilateral. So how do you prep your nervous system? So okay, you can practice punching and everything, and that's great. But how do you prep your nervous system to be able to, independently sort of like, move those joints in that particular way? Is there like what's in between the movements? What's in between the actual act of throwing a punch, right? And that's sort of where the nervous system stuff comes in, and sort of training your nervous system to be able to operate in these particular ways, so that when when you're doing any sort of movement on jiu-jitsu or whatever, just the jab crossing, just kind of just want to sort of explain. You know, it kind of preps your nervous system to be comfortable and familiar with these sort of ways of moving, and that's sort of like another level. You know, it's like, so what's in between, you know, a punch or a kick or something like that, where it's actually, you know, prepping your nervous system.
Yeah.
And that's definitely been helping. That's definitely something I can sort of benefit from.
Have you looked at any other kind of natural movement coaches? Have you how much have you looked into that? Because that's a proper Pandora's box once you take a dive.
I mean, I kind of, in conjunction with sort of like yoga, sort of gymnastics, and the Ido Portal and the Kelly Starrett stuff.
Yeah.
That keeps you pretty busy, to be honest.
Okay.
So I mean, what Kelly Starrett has, he has a bunch of sort of archetypes for sort of like hang positions and squat positions and stuff like that he feels that people should be able to achieve. And for the most part, you know, I agree, and I think that's kind of the right way to go. So as long as I can achieve, you know, and you can test them right with Olympic lifting, you know, like a hang position or something. So I think as long as I can sort of achieve those positions comfortably, then I think if it works for you, then it's all right. You know, for me, if I can achieve those positions, and if I can mobilize correctly to ollie lift, and if I can mobilize correctly for jiu-jitsu and wrestling, well, then that's my needs met, right? But I understand it's a bit of Pandora's box, and just go deeper and deeper. And like for everyone, you know, for everyone who's got a movement guy, there's someone else who's got a better movement guy, right? So,
yeah.
You know.
No,
it's leopard.
Yeah. I mean, I
remember reading. Sorry, carry on.
No, you go for it.
Oh no, I was going to say, like, I remember watching reading the Subtle Leopard book, right?
Yeah.
And then almost instantly, like online, there was an advert for becoming a brittle leopard, which was sort of like which was basically going against everything in the book. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to pick my camp.
Yeah.
But I'll look around, but this is working right now, so I'm just going to go with it. And, you know, if it doesn't work, then you know it doesn't work, you know?
Yeah. Everyone's got kind of their take. It's when it goes against kind of the opposite just for the sake of it. I mean, I've done a lot of work with kind of MoveNat, Animal Flow. There's a guy called Frank Ferencich, who's
there's that Movement 20XX guy as well.
Yeah, you know, I've kind of I guess I've had an experience with a lot of them, and it is much of a muchness. That, you know, it's not a derogatory comment. They're all really good, but it is kind of much of a muchness. You know, human movement is still human movement, and it's nice to hear that in sports such as MMA there's a realization that joint movement dictates kind of muscle action, and it does a lot. You know, my background, sports rehab, you know, originally, and everyone used to focus on, you know, stretching muscles and so on, and he just kind of asked the questions such as, you know, someone says, I've got tight hamstrings, you know, they keep stretching them out. I'm like, are you never going to ask the question, why have you got tight hamstrings? It's like, you know, stretching for stretching's sake, whereas if you mobilize, actually it often or not it dictates a lot of the muscle action, and that's what you mentioned, the nervous system, the neuromuscular system. So you know, we know it works.
Yeah, definitely. I was reading some stuff, and I'm probably going to absolutely butcher this.
No, go for it.
Probably help me out here. It was something to do with like pain stimulus in the nervous system.
Yeah.
So when you get injured and the muscle spasms, you need to introduce, like, your body sort of like remembers.
Yeah, it does.
Like, contains memory of like sort of the pain. So what you need to do is like when you sort of do like myofascial releasing, you're introducing like another pain stimulus or something to release like
just another stimulus. Yeah, so in the fascia you can get kind of areas of tension. Some people call them like trigger points. So the idea is to deactivate a trigger point, you go into it a lot deeper, which really hurts. You know, they're really hyper irritable areas. So you go into it, so you're telling the nervous system, to basically like switch it off, so to speak. And again, that's oversimplifying it, but that's really what you're trying to do. Most people get residual effects from the fascia, not the muscles, which I've always found really interesting, because your fascia just remembers everything. And if you're going through an area of if you're going through like a stressful period, suddenly the symptoms of pain increase. Whereas we know if you do something like a meditation before like a big event, your symptoms of pain, anxiety, all these things are minimized, allowing you to accelerate at whatever you're going to do. So there's all these other things that will affect your muscle and fascia directly, which I've always found fascinating, and pain is definitely one of them. And there's different ways of putting a stimulus into it. Nice.
Yeah, nice. And I think, and the other thing that I sort of do, which I think gets overlooked a lot as well, is sort of like mental coaching and mental strength.
Oh yeah,
I think it's very important.
Really important.
I think that's sort of something that's got to be sort of trained as much as your muscles and stuff like that. Is which you can do through like meditation and visualization exercises, and again, even sorting out like your MMA hierarchy of needs and all that kind of stuff. I think that all comes down to sort of mental strength and mental training and visualization. And like when I first started, I think like power stances and stuff like that. I don't really buy into that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I don't buy into that sort of stuff. But I think there is definitely like a benefit. You see top fighters like Robert Whittaker. Every time he sort of walks out, he's just smashing his chest. Or like slapping his face and stuff. And I'm sure. Like I don't know, but I'm sure like he's got like a mind coach guy or something like that. Who's sort of bigging them up, and he's like shouting at himself while he's like smashing his chest. And then when he gets in the he's telling himself he's like absolute fucking beast or something like that, or smashing his chest. And he gets in the octagon and starts smashing his chest to try and reaffirm it. So I'm sure that that's what a lot of top guys are doing. I think that's something that's kind of overlooked. That and analytics as well. Like you see analytics in every other sport. Yeah. Like analytics, I mean crazy analytics. Like do you remember Moneyball? That movie, or something. It's like, and it's like, I think that's something that's kind of missing from MMA. You see it in a lot of other sports, but some guys will go deep, like analysing their opponents. They'll sort of like map out their octagon movement and sort of how they like to start and finish, and they'll watch like 30 of their fights and create like sort of statistics of the number of finishes they've got in what ways, and and whether they go into there's one guy, he comes out, he'll be real aggressive, try and put you away. If you can't do it, he has like a holding pattern where he sort of does a particular sort of shapes around the octagon, trying to load up on his left, like knock you out in the later rounds, stuff like that. You can go really, really deep on it. But I think that's something that's sort of also a little bit lacking in MMA. Yeah. But hopefully it'll come. I'm talking I'm really real deep analytics.
I'm sure that will develop. With as the sport, the popularity increases, it will invite money. That money will then invite. Okay, we need to separate people, and it will start to become. It will start to become more team based. Like F1 racing. So you've got the driver, but now you've got a whole team behind that driver, and it's the whole team that really gets that person across. And I think I sort of feel like MMA will kind of become like that. A team will have their their number one fighter and their second fighter, and there'll be a whole team of like processes and analytics, and
that would be cool. That would be cool. Now, there is some analytics, checking like significant strikes and stuff like that, but I'm talking like real analytics, analysing sort of people's movement around the octagon, and there's things like that, and how their particular sort of style of fighting, and things like that. I'd really like to see that sort of come on a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned kind of like the mental journey. I mean, what are your experiences going kind of more on the mental journey? You mentioned meditation, those sorts of things. What other experiences have you had?
Yeah, so with the mental stuff. For me, I mean, it started with TM.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of meditation, but I did a lot of the Wim Hof method.
Oh yes, love Wim Hof.
And that's been it's good stuff. And cold showers. And
oh
all
yeah.
that stuff. And that's I know. And that's been great. But again, I do a lot of yoga as well, and then sort of breathing there is essentially meditation anyway. That's pretty relaxing. That's definitely calming. I always feel better, after sort of doing like a Wim Hof sort of session or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then from there, I progressed to sort of like flotation tanks.
Okay, yeah. How'd you get on with those?
So it was it was good and it wasn't good.
Okay.
So the first time, I think the first time I tried a flotation tank was the same day that I had a job interview for like a software contract.
Right.
And so I was off work at the time, and I was just sort of like training. But money was getting a bit tight, and so I really needed the job. And but the interview wasn't until the afternoon. I was like, if there's a time, and I've been trying to get in booking with a flotation tank for ages, but it's kind of hard to find a float center, and be like the correct sort of time that works and everything.
Yeah.
But I think at the time as well, I was harboring a lot of stuff, and I was harboring negativity and a lot of anger and stuff, and I thought, right, okay, today's the day that we're going to do it. And I had no idea what to expect or anything, but we go do it, get to the float center, and I get in the tank, and I'm floating, and it is, I think even though it was only an hour, I think everything at the time was so chaotic and so stressful.
Yeah.
Like I had a few issues, like fights falling through and stuff like that, and like opponents pulling out and things like that, and I was just getting a bit, you train like 2 months for a fight, and then like someone pulls out. It's
tough.
It's just tough, and then, you might get rematched in it's like another month. Then I'm quite a diligent sort of mindset sort of person. I like a plan, I'm happy taking on like big challenges, but I like to plan, and I'll go deep, I'll spreadsheet everything out, I'll go deep, and so when stuff like that happens, it kind of throws off sort of my chi is what I'm going to call it. My chi. And anyway, so I get in the tank, and I think just because everything was so crazy at the time, it was the best sort of reflective sort of decompression that I'd had in a very long time, where I could really sort of think about what I really wanted to do, and how I wanted to sort of like approach various things that were going on. And I got out of there, so I can, and the time flies when you're in there, and I got out of there feeling so relaxed, having felt that I was actually pretty okay with my life and pretty okay with, and it was honestly a really, really profound experience. I actually can't stress enough for me how incredible that first experience was.
Wow,
and I really felt like I'd managed to like let some stuff go, and I was so chilled. But I got this interview at 3, so I get back home, and I'm just content, man. I'm just happy, right? I don't need anything. I don't need a job.
Yeah, who needs a job?
I don't need, I don't need any of this, right? And I show up to the interview, and it's like a digital agency, and I sort of get in there, and I'm waiting around. I'm just chill. I'm good, right? And I get a couple of the people who were interviewing me, and fair play, they could have been a lot worse. And I bombed the interview so hard.
Oh, no.
But when I say when you're in an interview where like you just don't want to be there and you don't even care, I can't even think. They're asking sort of like technical questions, and my answers are like, I mean, they probably thought I'd hit like a massive joint before I walked in there.
Wow.
Because they're like, so explain a microservice, Asa. I'm like, oh well, it's like a service but really small. It was literally the worst possible answers that I could have ever given. And right at the end of it, the woman, and fair play to her, I said, she said, so how do you think this interview went? And and I said, you know what? I don't think it went very well. And fair play to her. She said, what would you have done differently? She's trying to give me a little lifeline here, right?
Yeah.
She's like, well, we're still here. What would you have done differently? And I'm just like, probably nothing. the worst possible answer I could have given. And needless to say, I didn't get the job.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, I mean, you know, if they did offer it to me, then we've got some other questions to ask.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we started with a bit of TM, we started with a bit of flotation tank stuff. And then sort of DMT sort of came on my radar.
Okay.
And I'm not religious.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm more agnostic.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't necessarily believe that there's something else.
Yeah.
But I'm just not really clear on exactly what that is.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I guess since for anyone who doesn't know, you know, DMT is sort of considered to be sort of a gateway to another dimension, essentially.
Yes.
Whereby there's a lot of experiences that sort of people have reported where they've sort of gone to like another dimension. They've sort of come to terms with, you know, things in their past, and then they feel like they can sort of like understand sort of their place in the world and you know, and where they stand, and it's supposed to, you know, help a lot of people. It's been on my radar for a while, and the real, you know, the real answer is that, you know, I just had to find out.
Yeah.
You know? I just had to find out. I mean, DMT is produced sort of like naturally in your body anyway, by sort of like the pineal gland, and a lot of people attribute that to sort of like UFO. You know, people like sort of go to bed and they report sort of like UFO abductions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people report, you know, can correlate that to sort of DMT being produced by the pineal gland. You know, you see the imagery of like, you know, the third eye is sort of like a representation of sort of the pineal gland, like sort of seeing into other dimensions and stuff. Yeah. So I tried. So yeah, I tried it. And
how did you take it? Was it part of a ceremony? What was the What was
so I was torn between. I was thinking about doing the whole sort of like ayahuasca, sort of shamanic sort of way. But the thing is, it's significantly more. I mean, from a logistical point of view, it's kind of difficult to arrange. Also, ayahuasca trips, they last for a really long time, where it's sort of straight DMT, like the DMT freebase, the crystal, only takes like sort of 12 minutes, you know. The experience only lasts sort of 12 minutes. So it's kind of a lot more efficient way to do DMT. Also, it's a lot more powerful.
Right.
So from my understanding, anyway, like sort of the straight DMT is sort of like a much more powerful and efficient way to sort of hey, I'm just gonna say it, to trip, is a much more efficient way to trip, basically, than sort of spending, you know, a very, very long time, you know, sort of an ayahuasca ceremony. And also, I think a lot of people get quite sick. With ayahuasca, I think they throw up and
I've heard that,
and stuff like that. Which you don't really get with DMT. So I actually vaporized it.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can get like a dry herb vaporizer. And then you can put sort of the crystal in there, and then you know, you can heat it to the correct temperature, and then you can inhale it that way. So I'm sitting in my lounge smoking DMT, and basically I'm still sort of trying to figure out exactly what it means for me. And so I'm not. So I can tell you what I experienced, but I can't really tell you. So I can tell you what I experienced, but I can't tell you that I necessarily believe it. If you know what I'm trying to say, but I can tell you what I experienced, right? So, so I inhale. It's like three tokes deep. I just sort of fall backwards onto my sofa, right? And I'm just getting. I can just feel, and again, the only way I can really describe it, I feel like my soul leaving my body.
Right.
And I literally feel like I'm dying, in as much as I can literally feel myself just rising up, just like off of my couch in a way. And then I'm just launched through like a tunnel of sort of like fractal colors. And it's at such incredible speed. I can feel like the G-force like kicking me back into the pillow.
Wow.
Right. But it's very real, and I can see a lot of faces sort of like laughing at me, but it's more in a "Whoa, here we go" kind of thing,
Yeah.
rather than a "ha ha" kind of thing. And it starts getting blasted through all these fractals, and then eventually I break through like to the other side. So it's what people call sort of the DMT dimension.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is I initially did have like sort of some issues with sort of fully immersing myself in the experience, because I was very worried about what I was inhaling, because I tested what I had, and it was positive for DMT, but I was just like a bit concerned because I don't really make a habit of smoking rocks. So
Yeah, of course.
and I say I don't make a habit of smoking rocks. This is pretty much the first thing that I ever really smoked. I remember just feeling a bit, having like some concerns for like my health, my body, and
of course,
sort of, like smoking bleach and stuff. So that did disrupt it a little bit. But as soon as I broke through, I was gone, right? And I'm in this DMT dimension, and like I was really like I was really high up, and I was sort of like looking down on like this plane, and I could see like this giant android head with like a sun in it, but I'm really high up, and this android head's huge, but it looks kind of small because I'm far away. But everything's like on a gigantic scale.
Yeah.
And then I start seeing the pyramids getting built, and these pyramids are just like rising up out of the ground, and they're pushing this like android head with like the sun like, right up into the sky.
Right.
And here's the bit where it starts to sound like a guy who's just tripping, which is that I can't really explain exactly what it means, but what I can tell you is that the feeling that I had at the time, right, and I can still remember what the feeling was. Was that I felt that I could understand why. So I can express to you now in words.
Yeah.
But at the time, I had a feeling where I could understand, and also why the pyramids existed, and you know, why they were built, and I had like I had just a feeling of just like complete empathy for sort of humanity. And to the point where I felt like, I'm not saying I necessarily believe this, I'm saying what I felt, right? But I felt that I felt so much empathy for sort of humanity, like we were all connected, to the point where I felt that if God, and I guess it's going to get a bit crazy, but if God was a thing in sort of like as perceived as sort of like Catholicism or something, that God doesn't necessarily exist like in that way, but God is essentially everyone sort of connected as sort of one organism, and to the point where I felt like empathy for like serial killers and stuff, because I felt like when they're killing other people, they're only really hurting themselves because they're all sort of connected to this one sort of organism. And I'd never really experienced anything like that, and because of that feeling of empathy and connectivity. For one, I felt definitely sort of like at the time, you know, like less lonely, and also less sort of attached to sort of my own sense of identity.
Right.
Because I felt that my own sense of identity was essentially ego.
Yeah.
To the point where, you know, even things like fear of death and it's just your ego trying to hold on to your meat vehicle.
Yeah.
As some sort of sense of importance.
Yeah.
So I get that might sound like a little bit crazy, but that's kind of how I felt. And to be fair, there were some other things going on. Like there was, I saw a few mushroom clouds. Don't really know what that was all about. I did also see a giant fractal lobster.
Okay.
That's all about. And there was like a heavy sort of aquatic theme. Like I remember there being sort of like a lot of tentacles and stuff.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't know what that's telling me, and I can't really make sense of that sort of stuff. But I just kind of remember,
Yeah.
At some point, sort of interacting with like some kind of giant fractal octopus.
Wow.
So there's definitely like elements in there which is straight out of an acid trip. But in terms of like the feeling, and even when I think back now, I can still remember how that felt.
Yeah.
And I definitely walked away feeling less attached to things that I feel are actually not really that important, and I feel like the whole thing is quite a humbling experience, and that kind of links back to what I was sort of talking about, like jiu-jitsu and stuff, getting on the mats and getting subbed and stuff. I think it's just a way of keeping your ego in check, and just a way of trying to be just always trying to have like an honest conversation with yourself, and how much of it is really your ego just trying to grab on, and you know.
Yeah, would you say that's kind of what you learned from it? So kind of when you come out of that experience, you kind of learn to kind of maybe let go of things a bit more.
Yeah, for sure, and just really sort of sit back and question what is really, what is really important, and any sort of like any sort of feelings that you get of anger or or negativity is you got to sort of question how much of that is your ego being hurt, and if your ego is being hurt, and sometimes there's legitimate reasons to be angry.
Yeah, of course.
100%. But if you're, if someone calls you out on something and you're wrong, and you're angry about it, I mean, how much is that? How much of that is you just trying to keep your ego in check, and how much of that is you not being able to accept that you necessarily might have made a mistake?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice. Would you do it again?
So I would, but I don't feel. So here's the thing: I don't feel the need right now. So I'm not like immediately like running straight back. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to go back. I feel like I need time to sort of process and really figure out exactly what it means for me.
Yeah.
And and whether there's anything else sort of like learn from it, and then eventually, I think I'll definitely revisit it. But I think, I don't feel the need to right now.
Okay. Have you read any of the work by a guy called Rupert Sheldrake?
The name rings a bell, but I haven't read anything.
So he kind of, he's got many books, but he's it's funny. Kind of, if you read a couple of his books, you'll definitely kind of realize why I'm bringing it up. It's he has a couple of books called like Ways to Go Beyond and Why They Work, and he's basically very much an academic research scientist originally, who was very much an atheist, and has kind of just been on this lifelong journey as a kind of research biologist, and he's had so much experience within different forms that he's kind of created more of a scientific stroke spiritual reasoning for things. And within one of his books he talks about DMT. He actually talks about sport and MMA as a spiritual practice as well. Which I find fascinating, because in what you were saying, you raised a lot of those same points, which I found absolutely fascinating. He mentioned with DMT a lot of the when they did the original research during the 60s and 70s. And they kind of got the people to kind of report back many years after. A lot of the guys didn't feel the need to redo it, because that one experience was just enough for them to kind of mentally digest for many years to come. But ultimately did change them for the better. And I just found that what you were saying really interesting, with kind of his books really interesting actually. I gotta get on that guy then. Yeah, well worth reading. Very articulate, and he's very much without ego. That's a lot of books almost have an agenda, like they're trying to push you towards. He gives you kind of this very well-rounded reasoning and rationale for spiritual and science, and I just think he kind of hit the nail on the head. And it's funny how he mentioned sport as a spiritual practice.
I can see it like that. I mean, ego's a motherfucker, man.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's like the daily beast. You know what I mean? That's the thing that you got to keep. You got to keep beating your ego. You got to keep. You got to keep it humble. You got to keep working. And I think everyone kind of knows what they need to be doing. Yeah. It's just, again, it just goes back to sort of like that discipline, muscle, and sort of flexing it, and just. And just keep working at it, and I think fear is a big thing as well. Like for example, perm work versus freelance work. It's super unstable. But I'd always felt that, or like running a business or something. But I'd always felt that even if you aren't necessarily happy in sort of a job or something like that, and the reason for not seeking an alternative wasn't they'll tell themselves it's for the stability, right? But the real reason is fear of instability, which is close but subtly different, right? Yeah. So it's like, oh well, actually I'm going to stay here because it's stable, opposed to actually just being afraid of instability. Yeah. Of course. And then so it's just got to kind of like steer into that fear a little bit, and just keep, Sometimes you just need to embrace it. It's to what's the saying I heard? To challenge, not comfort. Little daily challenges, whether that's kind of going freelance or whether that's just, for some people, going to the gym or trying to burn an extra couple of kilos on your bench.
Yeah, just something that challenges you today. Yeah,
exactly. And then you walk away, and you always feel great. You always feel accomplished. It's like, what did I do today? I did more than I did yesterday, and that's okay. It's a small thing. Then it's all right.
Definitely.
When you need the time off, you take the time off, but it's only after you've done that thing that you can really enjoy it.
Yeah. For a time, the biggest challenge for me was the Wim Hof cold showers.
I hated that. I tell you what, for me, it was 20-minute saunas.
Oh, really?
I really struggled to stay in a sauna for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well,
what I will say is, when I was cutting weight for my last fight, you have to sweat out a little bit. So you get in a bath and you heat yourself up, and then you get yourself into some blankets. And previously, before all of the sauna stuff, the baths were the worst, man. You have to use some dehydrating, get in the bath and just try and get the weight off, right? However, after a long time of sticking out with 20-minute saunas, what you mean to make weight? I just got to sit in a 20-minute hot bath. Yeah. Oh, this is the best. Easy, and again, that's just training that muscle again.
Yeah, definitely.
The Wim Hof showers are pretty mean.
Yeah.
Those videos on YouTube where he holds up, he gets you breathing, and he holds up a little timer for like 2 minutes. Yeah. And like it's getting there, and it's at like 1:45, and I'm like convulsing.
It's
15 seconds.
It's just intense. It's just different level.
Yeah. I'd love to get out there, man. To do one of those hikes in my shorts.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list.
It's on my bucket list. We'll get there eventually.
I
haven't booked my flights right now, but
Yeah, it's a thinker.
Maybe next year. After, We'll see what's up.
Indeed. So I need to round things off, but before we depart, you've got a fight coming up.
Yep. So if you want to watch me smash a motherfucker, it's Curtin Centre, Bolton. Get at me for tickets. It's at Asa Carrington on Instagram. I am on Twitter, but I'm also comfortable with my gender pronouns, so I don't really use it. What else? Can I just shout out a couple of sponsors? If that's all right?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Cool. So I just want to shout out to Hempura. Use code word ASACBD for 10% off any and all products. And shout out to Property Deals Marketplace. It's the place to go for negative equity properties. Also just want to give a shout out to Dee and finally, Rob Dawson from Mind Sport Consulting, who is a beautiful human being and deserves a lot more love than he gets. That's it.
Nice. Fantastic. So, yeah, brilliant. Thank you for joining me today. Really, really appreciate it. Good, varied conversation. Yeah, I love it. So thank you for that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the One Zen Fitness Academy podcast. Make sure that you subscribe. Please give us a 5-star review. And please, if it's not too much trouble, write a review. For more information, go to www.onezenacademy.com for all your fitness, wellness, and health needs. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.